Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is part 28 for a step-by-step guide to learn Angular. So if you are directly coming to this video, I will recommend you to watch previous video first and then you can come to this video. These are the topics we are going to cover in this complete video series, and from last three videos we are working on reactive form, and today we will work for reactive form, watch and react. This is the application we are going to develop in this complete video series. So let's start and open our to-do page. So this is our save to-do form, and here we have this auto close checkbox, and if it is checked and if I will try to enter something and come out from end date, so I can see this validation. And if I will uncheck this and if I will come here and if I'm coming out, so validation is not working because after unchecking this field is becoming optional. This is what we worked in the previous videos. But in this video, what I'm going to change is, let me open our save to do component.html, and here in the checkbox we can see that we are having this change event. So instead of change, what I want is I want to watch for my this checkbox, and whenever any changes are happening I want to react for that. So let's start. So let's remove this change event from HTML and save this. Now let's go to our component.ts, and as I told, I want to watch for my checkbox. So how can I get that checkbox in our component? Yes, correct, with the get method of our form. So what is our form name? Form name is this dot to do form dot get, and in the get I'm going to pass our control name of our form. So this is a auto control. So let's paste it here. And once we have our control, then we are having one method, one event that's called value changes. So this is a type of observable. So now I can subscribe to my observable. So let me subscribe it. And for now, let's just print the value. So now let's change our checkbox value and observe our console. So I can see false, and if I will check it again, so I can see true. So my watch and React code is working as I was expecting. Now let's go to our is auto close method, and here instead of getting this value from get method, I can directly add one uh, value is auto close in the method itself, and this is a type of boolean. And here I can replace this if condition with is auto close, and other code will remain same. And let's call this method from our observable. So let's come here and let's paste our is auto close method, and this is a this dot is auto close. Let's save this, and now let's verify our changes working or not. So now let's keep cursor in end date and let's come out, and as auto close checkbox is checked, so I should see my validation. And let's uncheck this auto close checkbox, so this red button should go away. Yeah, so it is working. And now if I will keep cursor in the end date and if I will come out, so this field is becoming optional now. So with the React and watch also our changes working fine. Now let's see our HTML, and here I can see this lot of conditions for showing a message and even for keeping these classes. And this is looking similar what we did in the template driven form, but we discussed that reactive form is better because we don't need to add conditions in our logic in our HTML, but still we are keeping all these conditions and logic in our HTML. So we are not getting the complete benefits what we can get using a reactive form, and this code is not more unit testable because we are keeping the logic in our HTML. So let's refactor this code and let's move this logic to our component, and for that also we will use watch and react for our form. So let's start. So similar to auto close value change, I need to subscribe to our form. So let's add our this dot to do form, and it should be similar to our auto close subscribe. So value changes dot subscribe, and now let's save this change. So now as we are moving our validation conditions for each control from HTML to our component, so I need to get values for each control. So for that I can use loop here, and I can use object dot keys and this dot to do form, and inside that we have controls. So in this controls we will have all the controls parts of that group. So let's loop this, and why I'm using object.keys, so this will give me the control key name. For example, this is a end date, this is a start date, so I will get by if I will use object.keys and loop it. So now I will use for each, and here I will give key, and so now I have key. Then by key I can use our form, and I can use that get method what we used in the previous sections also. So let's use our this dot to do form and dot get, and in the get I can, because we are getting key and value key here, so I can pass key here. And if we will observe our HTML, so this is our to do form group, and it is having a child of this control and category control, and our start date and end date is a child of date group. So our to do form is having a one group, and that group is having a child of start date and end date. So we need to add a logic for our group as well. So how can we identify that that control is a form group or normal control? So I can add one if condition here, and I can check is sorry, instance of form group. So I'm checking if it is an instance of form group, so I will add some other logic here, and if it is a normal control like task name and category, so I will add something else. So basically we looped our to do form controls, and here that is a form group, and here I am getting the date group. So similar to that I can loop our date group as well. So let's copy this code and paste it here, and now instead of this dot to do form dot controls I should use this dot to do form dot get key. So let's add one constant, and let's define as a date group equals to this dot to do form dot, and let's give the type also here. So this is a type of form group, and let's add semicolon here. So now I can see it's giving error because casting is not working, because we are getting an abstract control here, so I need to explicitly tell that this is a type of form group. So I can use this as, and then I can tell that this is a form group. And now I can replace this dot form with that group, and here instead of key I can give child key. And let's save this as well. So with this change in the else, I will get our task name and category and auto close, because this is a child of our to do form. And in this child key, in the child loop, I will get start date and end date because this is a child of our date group. But uh, after that, because I'm getting all the controls here and here, I can in this if condition and as well as in the else condition. So I can create one common method to add our validation. So let's create one common method, and in that method I am passing abstract control because abstract control is a base of all the a base class of all our controls. And second parameter I am passing the key. And let's call this method from our date group control as well. So here let's add this here, and inside that I have to pass our control. So I can use date group dot get, and in the get I can use child key, right? So let's give child key here, and second parameter is a key, so let's give child key here. And similar to that, I will use else condition, and here instead of date group, what I should use this dot to do form. So this dot to do form, and instead of child key, it should be key. So let's keep key here and here as well. Let's save this. Now I'm going to define one variable which consists all the error messages what we are having in our HTML. So let's come here, and I'm adding this validation object which is having all our five controls: task name, category, start date, end date, and auto close. And as task name having required and minimum length validation, so I'm keeping that validation here. And other than that, I'm adding one error message, one extra property, and similar to that I'm adding error message in category as well, and required for category, required for start date and end date. And all the controls are having error messages as well. And one important thing to notice here is we are giving the key is similar to our control name. So whatever key I will get in our child key and key method what we added below, same key I have added in this validation object. And also this errors name required and mil length is similar to our keys what we have in our errors array. So basically in this validator object, if you are seeing this error message, so this error message I am going to use, I will concatenate all the errors in the single error message variable. And with this error message only we will check in our HTML like control is valid or invalid. So let's copy this validator object, and let's come to the method which we recently added. So yeah, this is a method set to do validator. So let's open this. So this method is going to call for the start date, end date, and for all other controls as well, right? So this is a common method, and for that I'm going to set the error message property. So first thing what I'm going to check is if control dot pristine means we don't have any change in the control, right? Or I'm checking if control is valid. So let me add valid. So if control is pristine or control is valid, so what I want is I want to set my validator object error message property for particular control to be empty string. So let's add this dot validator object. Let's search for validator object, and here I can pass key, right? So suppose it is for task name, so I will get key as a task name here, and then we are having a property error message, and then I can set it to empty string and save this. So this is for positive case, right? If control is pristine and valid, so we are setting the error message to be empty string. But what if we have error? So we need one else condition as well, right? So let's add else condition here. And where will we will have error? Let me show you. Control dot errors. So this is an array, and in that we have a number of errors for that control. So let me loop this thing, and how can we use this object dot keys, and then I can use for each, and let's give name as error key. So in the error key, what we will get? We will get a required and min length. This is what we added in our validator object. Let me show you that as well. So if you will see our validator object, we have under the task name, that is a key, and under that we have required min length and required all this, right? So let's come back, and here what I want to do is I want to set the error message, right? And let's say this and we will have error key, right? So under the task name we have error keys, so I can add one more bracket here and I can paste error key here, right? And let's save this. So with uh, this change, we are having all the errors in our error message. But one more thing, if I will go to our HTML and let's see our end date. So I can see in the end date we are having date group errors condition also, right? And I'm checking if in the errors, if we have date validator, which is our custom validator, if that is there, then we are showing this message. So that part also we need to move to our component. So for that, because it will not cover by this loop, right? So here I'm checking for the form group. So this is our date group, right? So before this loop, I can check if date group dot errors dot, and then I can paste for date validator, right? So if we have that errors, then what I want is this dot validator object dot what is our end date, right? So in the end date I want to append the error, right? End date dot error message equals to let's add something. Let's copy and paste same error message and save this. And now before making any changes in our HTML, what I want is I just want to show you this validator object to you guys. So let copy this and yeah, scroll up, and yeah, So just above our form tag, I just want to show that JSON. So how can I add the JSON in HTML page? Yeah, we can use JSON pipe, right? So this is our validator object. Let's copy and paste it here. And how can I add the pipe? Yes, correct, like this. And save this. And one more thing we did incorrect, like we are setting this uh, error message for our dead group, right? So we are setting before uh, this loop. Okay. So what's happening is if we are setting this value and then if it is going to our set to do validation control, so here it's getting cleared, right? So I should call this after this, right? So let's cut this code and paste it after this condition and save this. And now let's go to browser and verify our changes. So this is our validator object JSON, right? And we displayed here. And let's observe we have error message for each property. Like for task name, we have this error message, and currently it is empty. Okay. So let me add some value for task name, and then let's see we are having the values here. Task name should be greater than 3 character, right? And similar to that, let's select uh, category first. And now we can see that for category we don't have any error message. And let's revert my action and let's go back to select. So now in the error message we can see please select category. And for the start date, let's select something and let's delete this so I can see message like start date is required. And similar to that, let's select end date and let's delete this. And here I can see error message for end date is required. And let's check for the custom validator. So let me select 25th as a start date, and end date I will select before start date. So I should see error message, right? So I can see error message in our end date. Okay. End date should be greater than or equal to start date. So all messages what we were getting in the HTML, we are getting in our validator object. So now we can remove our HTML logic and we can directly use this error message property. So let's make this change. So let's see, we are having this for showing this invalid class, we are having these three conditions, and now we can simply replace all this condition with our validation object dot task name dot error message property, right? Let's copy and paste this, and here we can remove this if condition, and this message should also be come from our validator object, right? So I can use interpolation here, and here I can paste this. And let's remove this else block because all our errors are coming in the one property only. Now let's open our category and let's make a same kind of change for class. Let's paste it here and let's change this task name with the category, and let's copy and this. And now let's remove this if condition because we don't need this more condition now. And here again use interpolation and add this here. Open our start date. Here also let's remove this all these conditions and simply replace this with the start date. Let's copy this, and for showing a message also we can remove this if condition, and here also I can use this expression, and now for end date also I can remove this. I can add this, and let's replace this start date with the end date. Let's copy this again, and for last error message also remove this if condition, and here in we are using interpolation, and let's paste it here, and we don't need the second spin tag because all errors are coming in the one error message, and save this. So now we can see our HTML is looking very simple. All that complex logic and conditions we have moved that to our component level, and our HTML is very simple now. And before I will show the changes, one more change I want to make in our set to do validations method. What I was doing is I was adding that existing message and then setting the values, but as we are having only one message at a time, so I don't need this concatenation, so I can remove this and save it, and let's go to browser. So now I can see my task name form, and let's try to enter something. So I can see that task name should be greater than 3 character message, and let's select personal here, and let's go back. I can see please select category message, and let's select that, and let's remove this, so I can see please start end date, and let's select end date and remove this, so I can see end date is required, and let's select some date, suppose 25th, and I am selecting end date before 25th, let maybe 23rd, so I can see end date should be greater than or equal to start date, and let's remove our end date, so I can see end date is required, and let's uncheck this auto close checkbox, so after that my end date should be optional. So yeah, my this validation is also working as it was working earlier. So one more problem I can see here is if for task name we are having a validation minimum 3 character length is required, so as soon as I'm entering the values I'm getting that message, so I'm typing but I'm getting that message. I'm going to type more than 3 character, but as I started typing I'm getting that message, so this is not a correct way, right? So we should wait, and if user is giving 3 character then we should show message. So let's make this change as well. So for making this change, we can see this we are having this to do form dot value changes, and this is a type of observable, and for observable we have one operator that's called debounce time, so that is we can use here to wait for some time and then subscribe, right? So let's use this operator, and for using that operator what I need is I need one pipe, and under the pipe I can add my operators, right? So I'm going to use debounce time. So we can see that that is a part of our execs operator. So let's take this, and here we can pass that time as a number, right? So what I'm going to pass, let's pass 3000. So it will wait for 3 seconds before it emit the subsection. So let's save this, and let's see our changes again. So now let's start typing in the task name. So now I'm not getting any message, and let's wait for some time, and now I can see the message. So if I will let's go back and open our form again. So if I will type continuously, so I will not get that error message, right? But if I will leave my value here, and then if I will come back here, so after 3 seconds wait I will see my error message in the task name. So it should be greater than 3 characters, so now it is 3 characters, because of that we are not getting message. Let me remove this, and let's come here, and now I should see the message, right? So I am getting the message. Yeah, so that's all for this video. In the next video we will work for form array. So that form array we use generally if we are having getting some dynamic controls, and dynamically if we have to generate the group of the controls. So in that scenario form array is very useful. So in the next video we will work for the form array. Thank you for watching.